Dreams aren't magic tricks, they are blueprints. This is the Thoughts Become Things podcast, where we open the doors to that blueprint and desire to break poverty. Join Moses B. Arthur, the dreamer, the doer, the guy who builds systems from scratch. We are talking business, personal growth, spirituality, the whole shebang. Forget stuffy suits and boring lectures. This is about real talk, actionable steps, and a healthy dose of love and light to fuel your fire. Remember, it shall never be well with poverty. So get ready to turn those what ifs into oh yeah. Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of the Thought Become Things podcast. Today's episode is going to bless you greatly. It's something I have titled Maps and Mirrors. Maps and Mirrors. And for those of you that have my personal number, or you may have followed my body of work over time, you'd usually hear me call my mentor the map. And you haven't listened to my teaching on the mystery of mentorship, is on YouTube and is on our Spotify and Apple podcast platforms. You just want to go and listen to mentorship. It's a good start, but sometimes we think we need mentors. But sometimes what we truly need are the people I call maps and mirrors, because not every season requires someone to walk beside you. Sometimes what you need is direction. Sometimes what you need is honesty. And that's where maps and mirrors comes in, because maps show you where to go. Mirrors show you where you are. And without both, life becomes very confusing. A map is very simple. It is the representation of a location. It gives you a picture of a destination you have not yet reached. It tells you roads, it tells you the routes, it tells you the turns, and it tells you the possibilities. And the remarkable thing about a map is this, that a map can show you a future you have not yet touched. A map can show you a future you have not yet touched. It gives guidance before arrival. It gives clarity before movement. It gives structure before progress. And sometimes this is exactly what people need. When Dr. Obonkin died in the year 2020, my life came to a complete standstill. It was such a very low moment for me, because if there's anything you know about me, is the fact that within the spectrum of the covenant of my submission to my mentors, I do not downplay the things they teach me and the things they entrust into my care, because there's a way I foresee my becoming under anybody I call mentor. So when Ubonkin died, it became a big blow, and I was still trying to figure it out, still trying to do me, still trying to become, until I encountered my mentor, my real estate mentor, Dr. Stephen Debra Blometi, of which a lot of you have heard me speak about him and how I reference him the map. I literally spent time to pray about him, to understand my covenants of submission as it pertains to him, and how I wanted to understand the real estate industry, especially because I had started a project in the Volta region and it failed. It landed me in a lot of debt at the time, and I realized that the gaps in our understanding is oftentimes what is responsible for the fluctuations in our results, because my first attempt at real estate under the company I registered called Emerald Holdings failed because I lacked knowledge. It failed because I didn't have somebody to make me understand the possibilities and help me understand the routes, the roads, the turns, and how to navigate the path of real estate until I met Dr. Stephen. So I was hungry, I was passionate, I had a fire, I had a drive, but I lacked direction. I lacked direction of how to get to where I wanted to get to. And that is how come I said there comes a point where sometimes what you need is a map, not motivation, not hype, not endless inspiration. You just need direction, because confusion can be very exhausting. And the thing about maps is that a map does not carry you, it orients you. A map says that you are here, this is where you are, this is where you want to go, and this is the path. But maps only work under one condition, that you must know where you are. You must know where you are. That's the reason why if you're using Google Map and you're moving to Solara Residence by Afrimat Atlantic and you're at A&C Mall, the reference point for your movement is always at A&C Mall to take you to Solara Residence by Afrimat Atlantic. And so for you to be able to understand and for you to be able to know how the map works, you must know where you are. So at the time when I met Dr. Stephen, I knew where exactly I was in life, and I knew what I wanted to become, and I was ready to pay the price to move from where I was to the next level. And this is where many people struggle. They know where they want to go. They know what they desire. They know the life they admire, but they are not honest about their current location. They are not honest about their current location. And without honesty, navigation becomes impossible. If you have to get to Solara Residence by Afrimat Atlantic inside East Legon Hills, and you are not honest about your current location, how do you move? And so it's very important that for you to be able to leverage and use the map or a map well, you must be honest about your current location. You cannot use a map if your starting point is unknown. And this is why self-awareness matters more than ambition. Self-awareness matters more than ambition. Ambition without self-awareness will always create a fantasy, and dreams without honesty will always create frustration. Because if you pretend you are somewhere you are not, every direction becomes inaccurate. Take it again. If you pretend you are somewhere you are not, every direction becomes inaccurate. And it is one of the problems of my generation today. A lot of people are pretending to be places where they are not. And this is not just geographic. I'm speaking about emotional, I'm speaking about spiritual, I'm speaking about relational, I'm speaking about financial, every aspect. And so my question to you is, where are you really? Are you healed or you are pretending to be? Are you confident or you are compensating? Are you growing or you are performing growth for people to see? Because clarity begins with honesty, and honesty requires courage, because ego complicates your navigation. Ego is not simply pride. Ego is a projection, and this is the image you present to the world, the version of ourselves and yourself where you want others to believe, the carefully arranged identity that feels safer than truth. But you see, ego is often who we perform when we are afraid to be fully seen. Some people call it alter ego, like I call myself the man in the arena. But it's not always false. It is sometimes incomplete. The problem with ego is not that it exists. The problem with ego is when it replaces your authenticity. And so I need you to understand that eventually the performance will become exhausting. You forget who you are trying to be. You lose track of who you actually are. And this is why many relationships and many people struggle, because they don't bring themselves to the table. They bring a character, they bring a version, they bring a projection. And at some point, if you keep playing a role, you eventually forget your lines. And so you being real cannot survive where performance dominates. And life has a way of exposing what is real. This is why the question matters deeply. When you walk into the world, are you representing you, or you are representing who you want people to think you are? Because there's a difference. The projected self seeks approval. The authentic self seeks alignment. One performs, the other exists. And this is where mirrors become necessary. What's a mirror? A mirror reflects, but the question becomes, does the mirror show truth or only appearance? Physical mirrors show surfaces, but life mirrors go deeper. The mirrors in your life are people, and not everyone is a mirror in your life. They are very rare and they are very few. They are the ones who can access you with honesty. They are the ones who are not impressed by your image. They are the ones who see beyond your projections. Mirrors are the people brave enough to tell you the truth about yourself, not to shame you, not to diminish you, but to help you see clearly, because self-perception is often distorted. We see ourselves through wounds, through pride, through insecurity, through ambition. But you see, when you have good mirrors as people in your life, they cut through that illusion. They tell you when you are drifting, when your ego is louder than your essence, when your presentation no longer matches your reality. And here's the difficult truth. Most people surround themselves with reflections that flatter, not mirrors that reveal. Most people surround themselves with reflections that flatter them, not mirrors that reveal. They prefer agreement over honesty. They prefer validation over truth. They prefer comfort over correction. But correction is messy. Scripture says, faithful are the wounds of a friend. The Bible tells you and I that faithful are the wounds of a friend, not because truth feels good, because truth heals what deception hides. And so a true mirror does not attack you. A true mirror will never attack you. A true mirror simply shows you. And that takes a lot of trust, because honesty without relationship feels like criticism. But honesty within relationship becomes transformation. And so you need people in your life who are not just maps, but people who are mirrors. And they are people who can mirror you accurately, not who mirror your brand. People who do not mirror your status, people who do not mirror your projections, but people who mirror your humanity. People who can help you remember who you are beneath the performance, beneath what people see you to be. People who can help you remember who you truly are at your core. And people, this is the power of maps and mirrors. Maps give directions. Mirrors give corrections. Maps help you move. Mirrors help you see. One shows destination, one shows the condition, and both are very necessary, because without maps, you wander. Without mirrors, you deceive yourself. You are so blessed if you have one person in your life who is a map and a mirror for you at the same time. Now, the Bible tells you and I to do something very profound. It tells us to examine ourselves. That is the language of mirrors. And God himself often works through maps. He told Abraham, "Go to a land I will show you," which spoke to us about direction, spoke to us about movement, spoke to us about navigation. And so I want you to understand that life is not about knowing where you want to go. Most of the times, it is about being brutally honest about where you currently stand, because clarity about your current location makes your future path easier to trust. And so today, as your mentor from afar, as we close in on the conversation, I want you to ask yourself, where am I really? What parts of me are authentic? What parts of me show performance? Who in my life tells me the truth? Who only reflects what I want to hear? Because growth begins when honesty enters the room. And so just like I've taught us on this podcast that we should all have a journal where we audit our lives, I want you to ask yourself those questions. Identify the people in your life who reflect the thing you want to only hear. Identify the people in your life who tell you the truth. Identify the people in your life who are very real. Write down where you truly are in your life, because perhaps one of the greatest acts of maturity is this, that you would have the courage to stand in front of a mirror and tell yourself the truth. So every morning, I look at myself in the mirror and I speak some truths about myself, and it keeps me very grounded and very sane, irrespective of how high God is lifting me. And once you know where you truly are, the map becomes meaningful and your journey finally begins. I hope that this episode has blessed you. I hope that you would be able to identify the maps and the mirrors in your life, and I hope that you become all that destiny has called you to be. Love and light. My name is Moses B. Arthur. Be blessed.
That is another episode down. Remember, dreams aren't wishes. They are seeds you have to plant, water, and nurture. Take today's golden nuggets of wisdom, sprinkle them with your hustle, and watch your garden of greatness bloom. Share your thoughts. Connect with MBA on all social media at the Moses Arthur. Don't forget to dream, dare, do, and remember, love and light are your superpowers. Until next time, go out there and turn those thoughts into things.